A claps.
What's poppin' T Squad? It's me, Keisha, and I am here with a brand new behind the scenes T video. So Katori Hall, like she does every Sunday, goes on Twitter and live tweets about the episode and breaks everything down. And once again, I was proven right about two of my theories and thoughts behind why certain things played out the way that they did. So whoever was doubting me in the comments section under last week's review, you gonna learn. You gonna learn over here. You gonna learn. Your girl never misses. Well, not never, but hardly ever. Anywho, let's get into Katori's breakdown of P-Valley Season 2, Episode 6. In her first tweet, she wrote, in hashtag P-Valley, Keyshawn's call to Lil Murda is a reflection of their sibling-like bond. Her using the phrase, he tried it, is a reflection of how hard it is to admit, even to herself, to use the words attempted rape. Lil Murda hears her loud and clear, though, despite the euphemism. And I thought that that was very poignant and to show how close that they have gotten since they started working with each other. They really are like brother and sister. That's why I'm like, girl, I wish you would talk to him about, you know, the fact that you want to get out. Like, this man is abusing you. Like, he already knows that you're being abused. But if you told him you want to get out, I'm sure Lil Murda would come help. You know what I'm saying? Would come help, have some of his niggas kill this motherfucker, do something. But like I said, I still stand firm that Mississippi's character is going to have to save herself, and she's going to figure out a way to. She then tweeted, when Big Teak looks in the mirror at his new cut, Mark Hammermeister's illustration of Robert Johnson with horns behind his head looks back. Fun fact, our production designer, Jeffrey Pratt Gordon, worked to clear the use of this image right till the moment we yelled action. Now, I had to do research on who Robert Johnson was because I've never heard of him or the illustrator Mark Hammermeister. But this is the original photo of Robert Johnson. He was a bluesman who only lived for 27 years. He was born in May 1911 until he died mysteriously in 1938. But he has been accredited to being one of the best guitarists, and a lot of fans and musicians revere him as being one of the leaders of rock and roll and introducing it to the masses. Now, this is the photo that the illustrator made of him. The legend behind this photo is that Johnson was young when he met the devil at a crossroads and sold his soul to the devil to have his career as a musician. Now, there is no proof that he actually told this tale. A lot of people that knew him says that they don't believe this at all. But after his death mysteriously happening, people just literally took with the story and ran with it. But this is a very compelling piece of artwork. It's very spooky. It's very mysterious. It's very scary to me. So we're going to get this off the screen immediately. I was also shocked to learn from Katori that one of the fun facts from this episode was that the character Gibby Burns was played by DC Glenn, an original member of Tag Team from Whoop. There it is. Did not know that was that man at all. They play the song on the jukebox as Gibby challenges Lil Murda about how well known our rappers music is. I just love how they continue to pay homage to the culture, artists of the past. Like, this show is just a chef's kiss to blackness, and I just live for it. And in my review, I stated how I had never seen anyone get their hair cut via fire before. But Katori breaks that down, and she says Big Teak gets his haircut by fire, a nod to SIP native Warren Lewis, the torch barber. Mr. Lewis still does this centuries old cutting style that descends from our ancestors. Check out Warren's in Memphis, where the flaming afro still reigns. Boy, I swear black folks are some of the most inventive people ever. We gonna figure out a way to get some shit done. We gonna figure out a way, baby, to be snatched and ready to go. You know, black folks will MacGyver some shit. That's why we invented half of the things that have been invented in this world were made by black people, because we will figure some shit out. Then Katori writes, Uncle Clifford and Big L's frustration over Autumn wanting to sell the pink is understandable, but this is primarily Autumn's building as the majority owner. We know Autumn to be a businesswoman and the ultimate finesser. Hashtag Pink Posse. Is she wrong for trying to sell the pink? Yes, I do believe that she's wrong for trying to sell the pink, especially after everything that Uncle Clifford has done for her, especially when they came to her aid, when it came to Montavious, how they put their own lives at risk for her. And granted, she did come and save the pink. Thank you for that. But this is a family-owned business. This is a lot of people's livelihoods, and you gonna get it how you live regardless. And like, you can't just come in and infiltrate these people's business to ensure your wealth. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, she learned from the best growing up. We learned so far from her that she grew up learning the game from different people as a young girl. So I also feel like what I said episodes back, that I stand on, that Autumn is going to finesse her way into the political world. She wants power at any cost. And that is why I feel like she finally threw that kitty cat at Andre. She's going to use Andre to get to the next level of where she wants to be. It's not a coincidence that she now has finally slept with him, because she saw him up on that podium. She sees that he has a great potential to win this election, especially if he has a woman like her on his side. So, and the bitch need a place to stay. Let's not forget that. She need a place to stay. He got a whole house over there. She gonna finesse her way over into that house and finesse her way into being his girlfriend, wife, woman, or whatever, since things are on the rocks between him and Brittany. And she's going to use his stance and his stand in the community to aid her own rise in the rich elitist world of Chucalissa. And Katori says, Hurt Village hustlers take care of their own, and Lil Murda them gifting Big Teak with a new car is one way gang members support recently freed soldiers. It's a prime example of why gangs are sometimes more than family, and they proudly rep for the Hurtville hustlers in that red and green. She elaborates more on that by saying, but of course this goes deeper. On a subconscious level, Lil Murda wants to make up for having left Big Teak behind both physically and mentally. I always felt Lil Murda put most of the money down for the car. And that, with her saying that, goes back to what I said on this past week's review, that was a part of the reason why I feel as though Teak decided to take his life, because he felt like he had nothing left for him there on earth. I feel like Lil Murda was his last little piece of hope, but once he found out about Cliff, that dashed any dream of them possibly being together, because he realized that we don't really stand a chance. But I think that it's dope that she also put in there that from her writer standpoint, because she wrote this episode along with another writer, that she felt like his character, Lil Murda's character, would be the one to put down most of the money for this car for him, because I do feel like Lil Murda's character felt like he owed him a debt after saving his life, and that was a way of showing him his appreciation. And I really think that he just wanted to have Big Teak around, not only as a friend, but as a way to pay him back through his success for everything that he did for him while they were in jail. Let's go back and talk about the shirt that Big Teak had on in this episode. He had on the King of Hearts sweater. And shout out to T Squad member Deidre Pauling. She's been a T Squad member for a long time. What up, girl? Thank you for this tea. She sent me this tweet that somebody pointed out on Twitter. And the background information on the King of Hearts is, number one, the suicidal king card in the deck of cards. He's the one with the sword through his head. Number two, unlike a hopeless romantic, a King of Hearts does not daydream about a romantic life, but has already lived through it and died from it. The King of Hearts is a symbolism of someone who is reborn after the experience of both the joys and tragic pain of love. They then return and master love with more self-respect. That said a lot. And I loved how they put that shirt on him as symbolism for everything that Big Teak was going through mentally and spiritually. Now let's get into Big Daddy Diamond, honey. Katori says in hashtag hoodoo, bodily fluids like saliva, semen, and blood are used to lay down all kinds of roots, especially love spells. Our resident conjure man is trying to keep it tight and expose of his seed. Hashtag Pink Posse, is he doing the most? No. No, Diamond trying to make sure these hoes don't be out there plotting on his ass. Nah, bitch, I'm gonna come in this condom. I'm gonna go put it down the toilet myself. You ain't getting to this, baby. Nah, because I know how you hoes down south like to move. No, ma'am. Absolutely not. He's not. And he cannot especially trust Big Bone because, like I said, Big Bone is connected to Montavious. Either she knows Montavious and spotted that ring and was looking at it like, how the hell he get that? Or like I said, she was sent from Montavious' crew back in Texas to come to Chucalissa to find out information on where in the hell is Montavious. One of y'all in the comment section don't believe in my theory. But okay, girl, we gonna see who right and we gonna see who wrong. And it will be me. I will be right. You will be wrong. Love you, girl. She also let us know that Diamond, a war vet struggling with PTSD, Diamond suffers from intrusive thoughts. In P-Valley, simulated sex scenes are always used to A, reveal character, B, further relationships, C, further plot. If a simulated sex scene does not do two of the three, at P-Valley writers usually 86 it. And as a writer, that's what you're supposed to do. A sex scene doesn't need to just be there for thrills. It needs to have some type of meaning behind it in order for it to A, reach the audience, connect with the audience, and for it to make sense for the characters. She also goes on to say, thoughts of Keyshawn flood Diamond's susceptible brain even when he's with Big Bone. It allows at P-Valley writers to articulate his internal monologue while portraying possible conflict between his heart's desires. And I think they conveyed that perfectly. Oh, and don't forget, I got some I told you so's coming. Katori then goes to speak about Hally, and she said tonight's P-Valley episode, Savage, was written by me, Katori Hall, and the talent Nicole Jefferson Asher, directed by Melanie Mayron, and DP'd by Richard Violet, DP. The last name of Haley's stolen identity, this episode tears away the mask of every character souls will be bared. And I agree. I think they did a phenomenal job with showing people taking their mask off, and we seeing the vulnerability and the angst, the jealousy, all of those things behind them. We saw it with, of course, Lil Murda's character. We saw it with Big Teak. We saw it with Roulette. We saw it with Keyshawn's character. We saw it with Wody. Like, it was so many characters where we really got to see the real true grit of them. And we especially saw it with Autumn Night, because Autumn, like Katori said, is a finesser. She gonna do what needs to be done to get what she wants, and she will use her feminine wiles, her body, or whatever to get it. And that is much like what she did with Montavious. Remember how she stripped for Montavious, and that was one of the things that she did to get into his life, his inner circle. And then, you know, he knew what she was doing, so he used her to the best of his ability, and then that transpired into physical abuse, and her being a finesser caught up with her. But obviously she still hasn't learned anything, because she's going right back to her same old tricks. And I'm wondering once again now what's going to happen to her this time, because she's just not going to be able to get away with doing the shit that she doing and then not be any consequence to her. Story then speaks on Lil Murda and Big Teak's little date. And she said, in P-Valley, Uncle Clifford mentioned the Hot Wing Castle, a Chucalissa staple, to Lil Murda when he wanted to take her on a date. To find Murda and Teak on this ad hoc date over a plate of that lemon pepper wet is truly one of my favorite scenes of season 2. I did not even realize that that was the place that Uncle Clifford had mentioned in that episode when Lil Murda asked to take him out in season 1, when he approached him on, so what, we just gonna suck and fuck in the dark? Baby, that's one of my favorite lines ever. Did not know that was the same restaurant, and I'm low-key mad that he took Big Teak somewhere that Clifford told him about, just like a nigga. And to speak on Big Teak, she says, getting out of jail is hard enough. Doing that in the midst of a raging pandemic is even more discombobulating for Big Teak, whose anger issues are covering a deep well of unprocessed pain. Like many of us, he can wear the mask of a smile as well. Oh, Big Teak. I have watched this episode since it came on now like 4 times, and I boo-hoo cry every time. Then to further clarify that date scene, she says, by the end of this scene, Lil Murda's love for Uncle Clifford becomes painfully clear to Big Teak, allowing for these phenomenal actors to articulate the type of sorry that has no words was the key to making this emotional scene resonate. All is forgiven. Like I said in that scene during my review, that he knew that he didn't stand a chance in Lil Murda's life. I told you niggas, listen to what I had to say in my review. Murda gets explaining how Cliff is to him, like how he makes him feel. And he was like, Cliff like eating funnel cake at the fair, like an eclipse. But then he like goes silent, and then he says, but you know, I fucked up. And I was like, the way he was just describing Cliff and the look on Teak's face, like, I will never be that for him. Like, he cares for me. He probably even loved me, but he loved this other nigga. There's no more space for me in this man's life anymore. And that was probably another check mark of why he felt like he needed to do what he did to himself. So he says, yeah, seems like you do that a lot about fucking up. And Murda was like, I fucked up. And he reaches his hand across the table. And when he said I fucked up, it wasn't I fucked up messing around with Cliff. It was I fucked up by not telling you what it was when you got home. And so dude takes his hand away. And so Murda feeling like, shit, this nigga still feeling some type of way. But Teak ends up pinching his nose. It was like, but you're forgiven. Because at this point, there's nothing for him to be mad about and hold on to. I told y'all niggas. This is what I do for a living, you guys. Like, I don't know if you don't know this. Is like, I'm an author. This is what I do. I know the mind of another writer. Because some of you in the comment section was doubting your girl. Some of you thought that he was choosing Big Teak over Cliff. No, not at all. Like I said, he was conveying to him that I'm sorry for not telling you, putting you up on game. And Big Teak realized, like, damn, this dude really means something to him. Like, this ain't gonna never be nothing between me and him. Like, we did what we did that night, but we just friends at this point. Like, there is no more romantic us because this man got feelings for somebody else. And I felt like I said in my review, that they just killed that scene. It was phenomenal. And she speaks on Mississippi trying to get away from Derek crazy deranged ass. She says the hashtag Pink Posse rejoiced when finally Keyshawn makes a break with the kids and the pink gun, only to find Derek remove the battery from the car. Getting an Uber would have been useless. Carrying the phone with her would have alerted Derek that she had left. And leaving the phone behind would have shown where she went, having been in isolation. Keyshawn, like many other domestic violence victims, felt she had no one to turn to. The pink gun was ready and loaded, but once again, it's hard to kill anyone and get away with it. Putting the gun down was not a sign of weakness, but rather the realization that she needs a strong plan to escape her abuser. And now that confirms to me that, like I said, she's going to have to save herself, and she's going to end up killing him and finding a way out of this. She has to save herself because she literally has no way out, no way to call anybody for help or to do anything. So she's going to figure out a way to get rid of this nigga one way or another. And I cannot wait to see it. I told y'all. That's the second thing I was right about. Told you niggas. And in one of my favorite scenes of episode 6, she writes, fun fact, Ed Stewart III and Jay Alphonse were told to play a game of Guess This Song. Outcast, So Fresh and So Clean quickly streamed from Alphonse's hands. It was a moment of improv that showed the playfulness of Murda and Teak's relationship before things get dark. And just to know that all of that was improv just makes the scene even more special, even more dope. And it really showed the connection that Big Teak and Lil Murda have. And like I said in my review, they have not only a romantic relationship, but they have a brotherly and best friend relationship. And I think if he would have been alive, that relationship would have carried on into them being each other's brothers and best friend. Because in the car, remember, Murda said to him, like, we got money to get, we got babies to make, you know, and I'm going to be there for you no matter what. Like, he wasn't proposing to him that we're going to be together, we're going to have a future together romantically. He was speaking to him from a friend, brotherly type of vibe. And when it comes to Mercedes' character, she says the Mercedes experience has become a messy entanglement Mercedes never saw coming. Coach soon sees he's not needed in this threesome and blows up, kicking Mercedes out and ending the sponsorship. For sex workers, not being paid for services rendered is a kind of sexual violence, and at P-Valley, writers wanted to explore that very real threat. And that goes into the fact that even though Mercedes, I was questioning, like, why did she walk out without her money? That confused me. But to now know that they were writing it in a way where he really wasn't going to give her the money, because when he walked over there, I thought he was going over there to count the money to give it to her, but he really was just going over there to pick his shit up and take it back into his room. So I know Mercedes ain't going to let that shit ride. Like, I know she not going to let that shit ride. She going to get that 40 stacks one way or another. You can't tell me she ain't got something on them that she will be able to use to blackmail him so she can get her goddamn money. Now on to Cream of Wheat Bae Duffy. She says Duffy comes in at the right time with his compliments to Roulette. A part of her questions his sincerity, so she leads with transparency. I'm a hodo. Ain't that a coincidence? I'm a hoe too. Hashtag Pink Posse. Might this be a match made in heaven? Yes. It is. We are here for it. Duffy is bae. Yes, I am loving them. I stand them. I want them to be together. I want her to tame the hoe in him and him to tame the hoe in her. Yes, ma'am. Duffy and Roulette need to be a thing. Yes, ma'am. And for my last I told you so of the night, Katori says, the song spins us to the annual Pussy Valley Spades tournament where Whisper and Roulette are competing for attention. Now with the pink clothes, they have to stack that Skrilla by any means necessary. And here goes the I told you so part. She says prostitution is another option. Whisper, appearing to be foreign due to her mixed racial heritage, appeals to Terrence. It's obvious his willingness to be the giver instead of the receiver hinges on colorism and featureism. To the strip club, and the dude in the episode that Roulette had sucked off in the Paradise Room asked her to hook him up with Whisper, and he was like, he want to eat her out and this, that, and the third, and he'll pay her double. And she was like, shit, I wish I would have known I could have got double to lay on my back. But really the only reason why he wants to do all of that with Whisper is because she's of a different ethnicity. And so this episode played into storyline of how black men prefer lighter skin or different ethnicity women over black women, because he was willing to do all of these sexual acts on her, on Whisper, and pay her double. Now pay her double for him to fuck on her and suck on her, whereas he only paid old girl to get down on her knees and top him off. I told y'all niggas. And that also goes back to the scene with Roulette and Duffy, when he was saying she was the most beautiful girl, this, that, and the third. And she like, boy, get the fuck out of here. Because she feels like he just trying to soup her head up, because she's thinking in her head, like, why would this white boy think that I'm beautiful? Why? I'm a black girl, I got a big nose, big lips, like ain't no way in hell he thinks that I'm beautiful. So she think he running game, especially based off how she feels about how Terrence handled the situation with Whisper. But I think now she's starting to see that Duffy genuinely likes her. And lastly, Katori says Memphis natives might hear my fave DJ Stan Bell, formerly of K97, introducing the Tina Snow and Lil Murda track Get It on the Floor. This is the collab #hotties and #pink posse been waiting on. In this moment, he goes from Lil Murda to Big Murda. Okay, Big Murda, I'm ready for the era of Big Murda. I love once again that they are using Megan Thee Stallion's alter ego, Tina Snow, as her character for the show. I love that. I think that's a genius idea. It's so cute. And I love that Lil Murda is now Big Murda. Yes, sir. So I'm so happy that she takes the time every Sunday to break down these episodes and give us the behind the scenes tea on what's going on in the writer's room, what's happening on set. Just love this show. This season has been stellar. They have more than made up for the 2-year hiatus that they were gone during the pandemic. They are giving us everything we wanted and all the things we didn't even know we wanted in a season 2. They have come back so strong. The writing is just phenomenal. The storytelling, the acting, the costumes, the sets, the cinematography, like the music, the glam, everything is just on point with P-Valley. And I really want this show to get nominated for awards during award seasons. Like, they need to be acknowledged because it is some really good storytelling going on this show. Rest in peace again to Big Teak's character. He will be missed. Can't wait for next week's episode, since there will not be any new episode of P-Valley this week. Let me know what you guys think about everything Katori had to say about P-Valley season 2 episode 6 down below in the comment section. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.